2020 Democrats getting fired up about the Trump administration's ICE raids.
These are not criminals.
It's basically an electoral effort by President Trump.
It's about scaring everyone in the country.
Well, will that message hurt them heading into the election? Our panel debates up next. Well, Democratic presidential hopefuls taking their best jab at the president, slamming the nationwide ICE raids.
People who are fleeing violence in Honduras and other countries with their little children. These are not criminals.
What he's doing with our ICE agents is not about securing our borders. It's basically an electoral effort by President Trump.
It's not about getting people who are security risks deported. It's about scaring everyone in the country.
But is this a winning message heading into 2020? Here to debate are Democratic strategist Antjuan Seawright and Trump 2020 Advisory Board member Jason Meister. Thank you both for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
So as we begin, Jason, I'll start with you and I'll get you to respond to this. Here's a look at the deportation numbers under each president. And you can see overwhelmingly President Obama, who was, as we mentioned earlier, known as the deporter in chief, was way above President Trump, who at this point has just about 295,000. So what's your comment?
Yeah, look, he was a deporter in chief, and I really don't understand what's controversial about enforcing the laws of this nation. These ICE raids are targeted at criminals that have had a day in a federal court, and a judge has demanded that they be deported. And these ICE raids are just effectively enforcing those laws. Look, in the month of May alone, we had over 144,000 apprehensions. We had about 1 million pounds of narcotics seized at the border last year. This is an inhumane crisis at the border. Democrats themselves have admitted this recently. We need to enforce the laws in this country. There's nothing controversial about it. Yeah,
and Antjuan, I would ask you, does it seem like Democrats, in your opinion, are focusing more on non-citizens, people who are breaking the law and here illegally, versus citizens, those citizens that they are potentially chosen to represent?
Absolutely not. What we know about this president and some of the right-wing media is they want to do what happened in the last presidential cycle, and that's insert anger, confusion, frustration, and chaos into the political conversation to drive out and generate a certain response from certain people in this country. That's what these ICE raids are all about. That's what President Trump tried to do in the 2018 midterms, and that's what we see from Republicans now. At the end of the day, Democrats have been laser focused on what we want as it relates to immigration, and fortunately for us, it is right in line with 60% of the American people want. That's comprehensive bipartisan immigration reform. The Republicans failed on this issue, so now we see. No, I didn't interrupt you on purpose. And now we see the Republicans strategically, as we get closer to the election, Trump numbers on life support, trying to insert these same things they did in the 2016 election.
You talk about loopholes, okay? We are encouraging child trafficking right now. It needs to be dealt with immediately. Listen,
we're not doing that.
Listen to me.
We're not doing that.
Yes, there are single adult males just a couple of years ago showed up at the border with 2% of them with children. Now you're talking about over 50% of single adult males showing up to the border with children. Why? Because they know that bringing a child to the border is a get out of free jail card. We need to attack the loopholes.
That's not true.
It is true.
Actually, Antjuan, that is true because they've actually done DNA tests and they've shown that a high percentage of these children do not even belong to these families.
Again, what you see happening at the border is people who are trying to escape certain conditions in their country to come to the United States for a better quality life. Right. That's what the American experiment is all about.
And the Democrat Party is encouraging them to break the laws, to not listen to ICE agents, to shut their doors. I couldn't even believe what I was watching yesterday on Twitter and on social media. There were presidential candidates of a major party in this country advising illegal aliens to continue to break laws. It's unacceptable, and it needs to stop.
What you find from Republicans in this country, you find from Republicans want to label everyone. I'm not telling you
this is not about labeling.
No, let me finish my damn thought. There are a few bad actors. I am not disregarding that. But what I'm saying is not everyone who comes to this country are rapists and thugs and killers, as you all want to paint the picture to play. That's not true. The president's consistently used that type of language.
Antjuan, as we wrap up here, that really isn't the argument. The argument is whether people should be allowed allowed to come into this country illegally or not, or if we should, fix the asylum laws, fix the loopholes, fix it so people can come in here legally. That's the argument.
Heather, Democrats welcome the idea of joining Republicans at the table to do that. Instead, you have a president who does not want to.
Actually, Jason, last word.
He sure does. And it's his compassion for this country and for the illegal aliens that are crossing the border illegally that's driving all of the decisions he's making, because the Democrats have done nothing.
Re-election
In fact,
driving his decisions.
Mexico is doing more than the Democrats in securing the border.
Re-election are driving Trump's decisions.
Well, we can continue to argue this. You could say re-election or election of Democrats as well, both sides. Thank you both for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.